let's just make an introductory question. Clearaudio was always mainly about analog audio, turntables, cartridges, toners. You started during an era that analog audio was not a trend. Yep. And now it is a trend. Please describe the history of all this.
It's as you said, in the beginning when we were concentrating on cartridges and tone arms and then later turntables, the trend was pretty negative. CD was coming out and getting big, and LP sales go down. So that's something where you get a little bit afraid. But we always concentrated on quality. That was our main goal and target, and this is still today, to concentrate on quality. So this is one reason why we survived, because our products always had been in a higher range. I'm not talking about the price, I'm talking about the quality. Yes, it was tougher, but as you can see, good things survive.
Let's divide the analog history before the CD and after the CD era. Do you feel that this is a different industry these days?
Yes, yes, it did change, because in the early days of analog, it was the media, and people had not been disturbed by many other things as today. Today you have streaming, you have CD, you have SACD, you had records, vinyl, and you had cassette later, and some tapes. But you had less hobbies, so music was one of important things in these days. Then later it changed, of course, and today music is again a very important thing, and I would say due to iPods, headphones and so on, music is even more important than it used to be, because now the music is portable. And that brought back as well analog and turntables, because this is something you can enjoy today, and the level and quality of playback from analog today compared 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago is on a much higher scale as well. Yes, you get very good entry-level turntables, but they're already very good, and maybe even play better than the bigger models at that time. So yes, I think it changed. It changed to the positive way, because the overall quality of playback from vinyl is even higher.
Do you think that the customer has also changed? I mean, the vinyl file of these days is different than the vinyl file of the older?
This is a very interesting question, and I have never made any real thoughts about. But spontaneously, I would say yes and no. On one side, you have vinyl lovers which always listened to vinyl, and on the other side, you have beginners which enter or re-enter the analog world, which is nice, because there's also younger generations which like vinyl, as there's no other way out, because you have the digital format and you have only the LP right now as a pendant, and younger generation find this not only cool, hip or interesting, but it's something you have in your head, and that's maybe from a psychological factor. You own a record. Yes, on my telephone I have 10,000 songs. I own them, but physically they're not in your hand.
As far as I understand from you and from others also, one main part of the analog success these days is the feeling of the physical media. But as a manufacturer, do you have the feeling that the media themselves, the technology of the vinyl, which has not changed for half a century perhaps, is a little bit limited? I mean, I have the feeling that the turntables are much better than the records.
Also, yes, there is when you want to climb a very big hill, the K2 or be in the Himalaya, you need to train to come up there. And this is the same thing what happened with turntables. The technology improved, the knowledge of how and what to do and what's important. Yes, you could say turntables these days are maybe a step ahead of the vinyl record, but on the other side there is a lot of R&D how to make vinyls better, and there are already some small steps, the cutting heads. There's some R&D on the cutting machines, on the pressing machines. You can buy new made pressing machines today. There's already 3 companies worldwide that produce new pressing machines, and in certain ways they're even better than the old pressing machines. The heat control is better. The cooling after the pressing is better. So there are improvements made also on the vinyl disc. And I think since there is so much going in R&D behind the vinyl scene, I would even say I'm pretty positive that certain improvements will be made within the next 1 to 5 years.
Mm-hmm. You are a record producer too. What is the single thing that you wish to improve in 1 or 2 years? I mean, what is the biggest problem now in the record production?
A big problem is, of course, a certain big amount of energy which you use in record production. So that there are already some tasks where you can exchange the big air pumps and valves which you need for the machines in order to reduce the overall energy, because green in a certain way and environmental friendly production is definitely becoming very important. It's even with our production, in our production we are very environment friendly. I'll explain later maybe when we have some time. So that's maybe a task where like a new material or maybe a recycled vinyl or something like that. That would be something very interesting.
Okay, I understand that to make the production greener and less and more energy efficient is a goal, but what about from the quality point of view? Do you have the feeling that you can do something to improve the vinyl record without making a new format?
Yes. We as a manufacturer, we do have some ideas, and we are not specialists in vinyl production, but we have some ideas, and we have some cooperations as well with some companies. So we force into this direction as well to get any possible improvements. The material, there are possibilities to improve the material, but this is a very big R&D part. You need chemical companies and so on. There was a project in the Netherlands with a consortium of some companies, and they are very much into that. I think it started 5 or 6 years ago, and they do have some positive achievements already. So yes, I strongly believe there will be some improvements, even if it's in the material or in the production itself, in the precision of the production. That's a part where we are looking into to make the production even more precise, to have less warp on the record, perfect centered pin, because that's important, with a perfectly centered record. All these little details, this is where we try to look into it.
Okay. Let's talk about the other side, the turntable now. What is your most valuable lesson you learned all these years? What is the secret behind a good turntable design?
The secret?
The biggest or the most important thing? If it's not secret, don't tell it.
Of course there are some secrets in our turntables which we don't tell. It is not easy to put in a few sentences, because there's many things on a turntable itself. It's a combination of materials, of manufacturing, of precise manufacturing, of course knowledge. You need to know how certain materials behave under certain circumstances. So it's a mixture of many ingredients. It's like a good cook, and you know sometimes when you're in a bad mood, your dinner is maybe not as good as it used to be a week ago. Mm-hmm. So here sometimes you need also to find the right time and the right spot when you're in a new R&D phase, for instance. You constantly look and search for things which you can do better. And if you look in the past, we have done so many tests, listening tests, material tests. So we have a wide range of experience, and this is something where sometimes you try to mix some old experiences and some new experiences to try to create something new. So this is maybe a very difficult part, because this takes quite a long time. Mm-hmm. In the beginnings of hi-fi, high-end audio and vinyl world, it was easier, but in these days, with all the regulations and so on, in all aspects, which is good. It's good to have regulations and safety regulations. That's all important. But a product from the start to the scratch to be a final product can take 2 to 3 years. Mm-hmm.
What is the most difficult part in this path? I mean, from start to end. What is the most difficult part for you? The initial design, the testing, the finalization? The
testing, and then the implementation of the changes of the tests into the pre-serial production and then the serial production. Mm-hmm. This is very delicate, because when you miss something, or when you forget something, or when there is a change which has a multiple factor in production, these are things which can cost a lot of money.
And time, perhaps.
And time, and this is something in these days you need much more time. The time frame in these days to create a product, to test it, and then make all the safety features, and then bring it on the market, and then have the serial production. That's a long stretch now. As I said, 2 to 3 years. This is easy.
Mm-hmm. Apart from the feeling part of the vinyl, why do you think a lot of people find the analog reproduction, I mean the vinyl, sounds better? Do you think that sounds better actually, or they like it better?
I think both.
Mm-hmm.
I think both. On one side, you compare, and the digital format today is so good. It's so good. It's on such a high quality level. But when you're really trained to listen to analog, you find certain things. For instance, when there's a piano tone, you can hear the tone vibrating afterwards. And when you listen to a very good digital format, you don't hear that tone ringing afterwards. It's like cut off at a certain point. All these little things you start to understand, and you have the feeling that it's more realistic in a small manner. I'm not talking big things, but and this is when the consumer is feeling more relaxed and more confident. There was a study from a university, I think it was the TU Dresden. They checked areas in your brain when listening to digital formats, and they could measure that stress areas are being activated while listening to a digital playback, and then listening to analog playback, the relax areas in the brain had been activated. So that shows that there is something that the human body seems to feel more comfortable. And this is the proof for me that there is something to it. Not meaning that this is maybe better or this is maybe better. Both formats are very good.
Yes, but you are saying that the reaction to digital is a little bit more.
Maybe it's not, because it's a computer, and we know we are in a digitalized world, where we have a lot of benefits from that.
Yes.
But sometimes it does not compare with nature.
Okay. It's a discrete time system anyway.
Yes,
we know that. Having said that, have you ever the temptation to follow a different path in the media? I mean, to try yourself in digital, to make some digital audio, or perhaps a tape machine, which is...
Yes. So we always worked in the field of digital. We have Class D amplifications which we made as prototypes. We made even a project as an OEM for another manufacturer where we designed a CD player, including all the digital parts. We had been in the digital area because, of course, at a certain time you need to be careful. And let's say 1995, 1998, you had to look into different areas, because at that time you did not know that there will be such a revival of the vinyl playback. So yes, we had been always always in R&D and digital as well, but we did not focus on that. That was the plan B if the worst scenario would happen, which did not, luckily. Yeah.
What about tapes?
Tapes.
Are you tempted?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. This is when you were in the analog area. Yes, we would love to make a tape machine, and the idea is already in the drawer, but the drawer is so full with so many products and so many ideas, and in these days we don't have the resources of workforce and time to go into that project. Good sounding tape machine, maybe with some improvements, some resonance optimized motors or the head, which is maybe isolated from certain resonances or things like that. That would be fantastic to go into that, but there is practically not enough time right now, because we are full with a lot of work, which is great.
What is your most important project right now? What are you?
Our most important project is to have the second factory, a second manufacturing plant to have this up and running and to get more employees in that factory.
Expansion then.
To do the next expansion, yeah, next level, so that our work capacities are growing. So that's our biggest project right now, including with a new ERP system which is being implemented right now, which is bringing me very close to my first heart attack.
Okay, these are corporate plans, but what about new products? Are you planning new things that you can share with us?
New products. Yes, we have a nice range of actual products, like especially the battery power supplies for the concept and performance, the new professional power supply for the innovation and ovation series. That's a very high sophisticated analog power supply. Yes, we work of course on some improvements on moving coil cartridges. I can't tell you when their new series will come out. To this year we have June, so I would say not this year, but we work on that. We have a new nice tone arm, radial tone arm coming up, the Satisfy V2. That's being pretty much finished. So this should be introduced at the end of the year. We will have a new phonostage coming, the new balanced reference phonostage V2. We previously had the balanced reference phonostage, but it was discontinued a few years ago. So there is a new model coming as well. We will have the performance DC and the concept turntables will get a major improvement in the motor control and new engine as well. So that's hopefully we can implement that this year, latest next year. I'm not talking about cables and small accessories. Some things will happen there as well. So that's pretty much.
Your hands are full. I understand.
Yes, yes, and we have ideas for record cleaning machines, for many other things, but this is the major pass right now.
You are quite active in the OEM part of the audio.
Yeah.
You are present in under a lot of logos. Talk to me about your experience of this. I mean, how difficult it is for a well-known manufacturer that does not have a turntable to pick up the phone and call you and you know, I am the ABC company and I want a turntable design from you.
Actually, this is not difficult.
For you, for them, I don't know.
Also for them, it's difficult. We have some brands where we work very strong together with Macintosh, with Marantz, and now as well with Name and a little bit with Lin as well. These are very good corporations, and you have to look it from the other side. For instance, if you have a very nice brand, sophisticated brand in the market, like these brands, as I said, they maybe don't have the experience in the area where we are. So it is a fruitful partnership because we have experiences in analog playback, and they save, of course, certain R&D time and money to where we can implement these ideas and parts which we maybe already have on in our production line into their product. And the nice thing is that you can create a product which fits to the line of Macintosh, Marantz, Name, Lin, and so on. So the customer, when you decide to go with a certain brand or a certain style, then you have everything out of one hand. And you can be sure that you even, when you buy a analog playback, you get a really good turntable for your beloved brand, which you prefer.
How difficult is to incorporate your design into their philosophy? Are there...
That's an R&D part, and it's important that the product gets its own DNA, something from our DNA. We always try to implement all the needs which the OEM partner needs to perfectly match it with his products and their products. That's not easy. That's not easy because sometimes there is a different design philosophy in general. So there to find a very good combination, that can be something in the beginning attending.
Let's return to the customer again. I understand that you have a part playing in the Deutsche Grammophon reissues and making some records. From the outside, when we are looking these good quality cuts, let's say them so, there is a rather imbalance in the music style. I mean, all the supercuts or the 180 gram vinyls or the half-speed masterings are either classic or pre-classic or symphonic music or in the best just jazz. Do you have the feeling that we must have some media of modern music? There is electronic, there is...
Yes, I would love to, and I'm sure that there are labels out there which fulfill this. We come from that jazz classic background. That's why our catalog is more filled with jazz and classic and blues. This is our heritage, I would say. But we are open for new ways. I think we showed with a sampler for our 40th anniversary. We have two samplers. One is electronic music, and the other one is an assortment of really nice music, and they have all pop, rock, jazz, and so on. So this shows that we are open.
This is already in market.
The black double LP.
Okay.
I will show you later. Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Do you feel that this imbalance in the music styles is affecting your sales? I mean, that there are a lot of people that they don't find their music in vinyl.
Yeah, but today it's sad to say, but it's the truth. If you go online, you find everything, almost everything on vinyl. The other thing is, if you go to record shop, the used record shop, you always find something.
Yes, okay, that's true.
Yeah, you always find something.
Alekos told me that you have some plans about production in Greece.
Yes,
well, this is a secret.
It's not a secret. We not for me. Greece is a second home. I have now a flat here. I come here frequently. So why not to have a small manufacturing base here as well, where we can pre-work certain parts, cablings, PCB boards and so on, which are then being shipped to Germany and being implemented in the products. Why not? There's many ways we can do that, and the other thing is that we constantly look for new employees, and we're pretty full in our departments. So it's also a little way to maybe start here a small future business to help the mother company in Germany.
So that is not an Alekos rumor, it's reality.
It's it's reality. The company. That's why I've been frequently here now. The company is starting officially. I would say in September, 1st of September, something like that.
So it's an actual part of your company, not an excuse to come more often in Greece.
I don't need an excuse to come to Greece. That's the nice part, because I will come anyway, with company or without company. Because my advantage is with a laptop today, you can work from remote from everywhere. And the other side is, of course, since I'm traveling very often to Greece, it's good because there's also a certain control and training possibility coming back and forth. And here you can see there is a younger generation of people which want to work, and it's not easy, and especially with the COVID pandemic, which is still taking place in certain ways. I think for Greece, it's not such an easy time, being depending on a lot of tourism and so on. So I think there are some good opportunities to find also some good employees there in the future. So the plans are slowly, step by step, to build it up.
Thank you. That would be all. Thank you.
Fantastic. It was, as always, was a pleasure to see you and meet you, and hopefully there will be, I think not this year, but next year, a little Haifa show again, so that we can come. And if not, we will organize something to make a nice evening.
Okay.
Maybe with some live music with Wolfgang Bernreuther. I did ask him, and yes, he's very delighted to come as well.
That's very good idea.
Make some little live concert. So, because that's also important to do some action. Because now it's a good time again.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you as well.